freedom to chirp and whistle. Indeed, those days I recollect, there were more forwards on WhatsApp of nature in its bounty than anything else. Outside, the cities too, nature seems to have taken over with empty highways, empty, that the newspapers had pictures of animals lazing on their turf. Yes, it set us all thinking what we were all missing out and what had we done or been doing that the natural world seems to be coming back. We seem to have put our footprint in areas which was not ours. We would all our pollution, global warming, etc., had been sowing destruction to the environment. And the effect was this pandemic. Was it this pandemic? Was it connected? If so, is there a recourse to this all? Yes, there is. But I'll speak more about it as the meeting progresses. I would like each of you, time permitting though, say in a sentence if you agree to whatever I have thought said now, and what would you do to do your small bit in just a sentence for our fragile environment. Coming to our meeting today. Today's meeting, as all Toastmasters meeting do, has three parts. The prepared speeches, we have four brilliant speakers and four experienced evaluators. A table topic session, whom I'm looking forward to, and of course the evaluation team to help us improve, without which this meeting will never have been completed. So let's get started by first introducing the tag team. Only this time it's a tag H with a silent H as the heart master. The first role of this tag team is a member of the Tampa Talkers as DTM Bindu just introduced. And as much as I've heard of her, she speaks as she's a rising star. She will be the general evaluator. Her perspective is all more important coming from another club and having been attending many more meetings. I am sure her review is going to tell us much more about how to improve ourselves. With this, I will I would like to introduce Toastmaster Sana to speak about her role and in a sentence what she might do to help the environment. Over to you, Toastmaster Sana, to
Thank you so
introduce your role.
much, Toastmaster of the Day. I'm deeply humbled at such a wonderful and lovely introduction. I really didn't expect that. Thank you so much. And coming to my role, okay, first of all, about the theme, lovely theme. Definitely, we reap what we sow. And about how I would, contribute to the environment, I think whatever this pandemic has caused, the positive change in itself shouldn't be considered as, as something positive, because that is something which we are bound to do because we don't have any other choice. It would have been much, much, much wonderful if we would have done it out of our will and with all the awareness, and we did not need a pandemic to do that. I feel that. Okay, coming to my role as general evaluator would be to evaluate the entire meeting from its beginning to end, and I will be noting down all the positives, and also I will jot down some improvement points for you. So let's have an amazing and splendid meeting. All the best to you, and over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, General Evaluator. The next role player, I won't be wrong to say that he is turning out to be our very own Shashi Tharoor of the club. Check me out if I'm wrong. He is the grammarian and has a word of the day which befits the above description. Let me introduce the grammarian, Toastmaster Praveen, who will describe his role and introduce the word of the day, and, if possible, a sentence of what he might do to help the environment. Over to you, Toastmaster Praveen.
Good afternoon, all. Thank you, Toastmaster Leslie. The word of the day is called martinet. Martinet is a noun, and it is used to describe someone who is very strict in adhering to policies and procedures. It could be used in any sentence. When you are describing, for example, your boss, you could call him as, my boss is a martinet, but thank God, sometimes he's a bit flexible. It's an example. I had a hidden agenda for putting this word in, especially with respect to the pandemic situation, everything. The reason is, as such, everyone is suffering from the pandemic. Countries are shutting down, and now people are reopening and things like that. But the most important part is we have to adhere to some kind of self-discipline. And I thought that that kind of a discipline and martinet somehow went hand in hand or glove in hand. So that's why I will be, from an evaluation angle, I will be looking into the usage of the word, of course. And of course, we'll be trying to look at the overall grammar and how the sentence formation, etc. And basically, that's what I'll be looking at. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster Leslie.
Thank you, Toastmaster Praveen. Our next role player is the AHA counter. He is a relatively new member of our club, and I'm sure this role will give him an exposure of the progress and his role in a meeting. Let me introduce Toastmaster Naveen to explain his role and, in a sentence, what he might do to help the environment. Toastmaster Naveen.
Good evening, Toastmaster today, fellow Toastmasters. I'm pleased to be the counter of today's meeting. The purpose of the counter is to improve speeches patterns and teaches Toastmasters how the elimination of improves flows and effectiveness of our speeches. Taking the assignment of counter also enhances listening skill. The counter notes words and sounds that are used as verbal pauses by anyone who speaks during the meeting. We call these words such as and so on. I will also note when speakers repeated words such as I, and, or and some. At the end of the meeting, I will make a report on the numbers of ahas said by each speakers. Over to you, Toastmaster Leslie.
Thank you, Toastmaster Naveen. The next role player is the timer. Indeed, he has been keeping his eye not only on time, but on all of us. He being my mentor in my Toastmaster journey. DTM Yusuf is a very senior Toastmaster holding very high posts in our club, who will explain his role as a timer, and also DTM Yusuf, in a sentence, what you might do to help the environment. Over to you, DTM Yusuf.
Unmute. Hi. Good morning in the afternoon.
Afternoon.
I'm taking the timer role today. And being a timer, it is so crucial. I don't have to fall asleep. That's the most important part. So the timer part is the three sections that we have: the prepared speech, the grammar, the evaluator, and table topics. So at the qualifying time, I'll be raising up the screen will turn green. The mid, I'll be changing the color to yellow. And at the end time, it'll be red. And I'll keep this red on till the speaker concludes the speech. And as I turn red, I have 30 more seconds to wrap up the speech, right? And in very quick sentence to say what I have done or reap, in actual meaning, I am reaping, or no, I'm not reaping, I'm sowing. I'm planting some plants. It's a nice time, right, Leslie? It's a
Yes,
perfect
correct.
time, season of the, and
Yeah,
with the
you're
help
in
of
time.
Leslie, I am doing some,
Yes.
yeah. And help, Leslie is my mentor in this. He's guiding me how to sow some plants at this time of the year. So yeah, this is what I'm doing. Over to you, Leslie.
Thank you, DTM Yusuf. Our next role player is the silent H. In fact, there's no other way to introduce Toastmaster Irfan, one of our silent members, yet a very committed member. His role will be played only for the second time in times of recent times of our meetings, the Hawk Master. Toastmaster Irfan will explain his role, but to answer his questions, you all have to keep your eyes and ears alert. This Toastmaster Irfan also in a sentence what he might do to help the environment. Over to you, Toastmaster Irfan.
Thank you, Toastmaster Leslie. Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests.
Good
I am
afternoon.
pleased to be today's Heart Master, and my role is to encourage effective listening and to ensure that all the members are paying attention to the session. I'll be asking some questions at the end of the session when called upon. Over to you, Toastmaster Leslie. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now that the tag team is in place, we can begin with our first segment of the meeting, the prepared speeches. Prior to that, I would request everyone to keep their phones on silent and also to mute their their phone, the video, so as to not disturb the speaker who will be taking over the speech. Our first speaker, as per the agenda, is a speaker who has come around most obstacles as a speaker. In fact, she is a winner in our club contest. Help me invite Toastmaster Shaswini, who will be evaluated by none other than one of our star members and another of my mentors, DTM Zainab, who will read out her objective. Before you commence your speech, Toastmaster Shaswini, in a sentence, what you might do to help the environment. Over to you, DTM Zainab, to read out the objectives.
Thank you, Toastmaster Leslie. A very good afternoon to all of you and my target speaker. I just want to add, to save the environment, I cannot promise something big, which I cannot do. But yes, I always begin from my home, from my own life. The best thing is to reuse what you can, try to reduce things, try to reduce and purchase the things which you do not need in life. And you can always share, you can always give, you can always reuse things and hand over the things what can be used by others. So this is one of the ways I'm helping the environment. And to my target speaker, Toastmasters Sashwini, she is embarking on the path leadership development, and she is on level 3 project 1. She is embarking on a very challenging project today, and the purpose of her speech is supposed to be, the purpose is the member to practice developing a plan and bringing her plan to fruition. Fruition means how she felt after the completion of her planned project. This is going to be her speech. The purpose of this speech is for the member to share some aspect of planning and implementing her small scale project. She is also obliged to present a report to the VP Education after the completion of this project to make sure this project is uploaded by the VP8. So Toastmasters Ashwini, all the best. And her title is The Full Proof Plan. The Full Proof Plan, Toastmasters Ashwini. Timer, please note her time is 5 to 7 minutes. Sashwini, please spin the timer before you begin your speech. Over to you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Before I start my speech, I just have a disclaimer. So the ideas and the strategy of this speech are purely fictional. The views and the opinions that I expressed does not define myself, and I do not condone for anyone to use it. Okay. So what happened in March 2020? Do you know? March 2020, the world experienced something that had not happened since 1920. The world was hit by a pandemic caused by COVID-19. Every country struggling with the rise of cases, which forced all of them into a lockdown. Business slowed down. Companies did not make good profits. Many of the employees started losing their jobs. Many of us even had salary reductions. This damaged the global economy, which led to a recession. Dear Toastmasters and all of us hit by a recession. We at Don Bosco Toastmasters started having online meetings, and many of the members started expressing on how this recession was impacting them, affecting them personally. It was comforting to know that there were others who were also experiencing the same problem, what I was going through. And I was thinking, how can I help myself? How can I help my club members? What can I do for us? That's when I came up with this brilliant idea. This brilliant idea of robbing a supermarket. Now, I knew this is not a one-man show. I had to convince my Don Bosco Toastmasters members. I needed their support. After a lot of convincing, my club members finally agreed. But now we had to convince the martinet of the club, President Bindu. She had the last say. But I managed the DTM Yusuf to convince her. She agreed very, very reluctantly. Now, I needed a solid plan, the foolproof plan. I had to go to the supermarket, check where are the security cameras. Who is a good observer in our club to do this? Can you make a guess? Who I could trust this with? Toastmaster Gopala. He was given this job of checking all the security cameras. Then we needed a disguise. Somebody had to prepare our masks. And this was given to DTM Zainab. Do you want to see what she picked for us? This is what she picked for us. Toastmaster Anup, DTM Bindu, DTM Yusuf were given the task to control the crowd at the supermarket. They needed something to scare the crowd. That's when Toastmaster Bashir came up with an idea. He said, let's use toy guns. I was very happy. We had our weapons, we had our masks, and we were all set with the foolproof plan now just to execute it. But I knew everybody was concerned. Everybody was concerned with what? What would happen if any one of us got caught? With all the experience past President Leslie had, he was the only one who kept saying, do we know what will happen if any one of us get caught? I was sure it was the foolproof plan. Nothing could go wrong here. Planning for the event was done. Now, it was time to execute the robbery at the supermarket. The day of the robbery rolled around quicker than I anticipated. With the mask on, toy guns in our hands, we all set out to the supermarket. It was funny to see people with confused faces, didn't know what was happening. Finally, they realized that it was a robbery in the supermarket. All of us in full action with our weapons. Toastmaster Bashir, Toastmaster Chinmaya, both of them threatened the cashiers. And our club treasurer, DTM Robertson, saw that every cash box was emptied. There was no cash box left with cash in. As we were ready to leave, I heard something which put a thump in my heart. The police sirens. I knew we had to get out of this place as soon as possible. And I felt the club members could read my mind. We all sprinted towards the main door. And as we were about to get out, we saw the black van, which had a car sign which read, "New driver, please be patient." Can you guess who this driver was? Oh, the new driver in Don Bosco's, Toastmaster Soja. While rushing out, I saw there was a cash bag left behind. I rushed back to get that bag. In spite of all the warnings from my club members, I didn't listen. I knew I could make it back in time. I was so elevated that my plan was successful. I had executed the foolproof plan. As I was running towards the van and the car door handle was just in my hand, I felt somebody grab me by my collar, and I understood this was no longer a foolproof plan. I turned around to confirm my suspicion, only to be waken up in my own bed by my daughter. I felt a flood of relief. It was only a dream, but it was the foolproof plan in my dream. A foolproof plan with an outstanding execution by all the Don Bosco Toastmaster members. But my overconfidence foiled the plan. My reluctance to consider any risk had foiled the foolproof plan. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Saswini. By the way, you did choose the proper martinet of our club, DTM Bindu. I'll give a minute for feedback to Toastmaster Saswini. Kindly use your private chat to pass on your feedback, please. Timer, could you time the minute, please? I think we are done. Okay, back to our meeting. The next speaker. Bibliography is a word that the next speaker once introduced in the meeting, which I have used whenever possible. She is another of DBTM's wordsmith. Help me invite on stage Toastmaster Soja, who will be evaluated by our own very dynamic president, DTM Bindu, who will read out her objectives. Like before, Toastmaster Soja, when called upon, you could say a few words on what you might do to help the environment. Over to you, DTM Bindu, to read out our objectives, please.
Thank you, Toastmaster Leslie. Toastmaster Soja is embarking on her Pathways Level 3, Project 1, and she's giving a speech. The purpose statement of the speech is for the member to learn about different types of negotiation and the strategies that can be used when negotiating. The purpose of the speech is for the member to share some aspect of a past or future negotiation in his or her life. And the title of her speech is Dare to Negotiate, the Art of Negotiation. Dare to Negotiate, the Art of Negotiation. The screen is yours, Toastmaster Soja.
1 second, Bindu. Let me try to pin the timer. How do I? Okay. Gopala, is it possible for me to not see the share screen on the other phone, other laptop?
What are you asking, Soja? Can you repeat?
I want to know whether on the second laptop I can just see the audience.
Your slide.
I don't. I see.
So
I want to
there,
see my slide only on one laptop, not on the other one.
So there you don't share, right? On that laptop you're not sharing, right? So then you can only see the gallery.
No, on the left,
No.
on the right corner, the two options is full screen and there's another button.
Okay.
Swap screen with video. Go with that. That
Exit
will
full
work.
screen.
Yeah. Next to enter exit full screen, there is another swap shared screen. Try that one.
On your belt, on your gallery belt, on the right corner, see, you will see a square with another small square. Can you just see that? Swap shared screen with video.
Right hand top corner. Top right hand corner.
I can see only.
No, look, Soja, otherwise, are you seeing one vertical bar in the between the two, your speaker view and the slide?
Huh.
So just drag it to the left.
Okay, I got it. Thank you, Gopala.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll start now. Shall I start?
Yeah.
When I was small, my mom reared a cow. One day, when the caretaker didn't turn up, she asked me to put the cow in the shed. I tried to lead her to the shed, but she won't budge. I pushed her, pleaded with her, but to no avail. At last, I caught her by her horns and tried to push her in. She locked me with the horns and threw me up in the air like a balloon. I landed on the ground with a thud. My mother rushed to the site hearing the commotion. After asking my father to tend to me, she took out some hay from the bale. The cow sniffed at it and followed her meekly to the shed. Every animal has a soft spot, which allows you to manipulate it. My dear fellow Toastmasters, every negotiation is a different animal. So what is a negotiation? A negotiation is a strategic discussion that involves two or more parties that resolves an issue in a way each party finds acceptable. We all negotiate on a daily basis. On a personal level, we negotiate with family, friends, car sellers, landlords, and employees, among others. Negotiation is also key to business success. Within a company, your negotiation skills could lead to career advancement. The most popular negotiation styles are compete, where you win, I win, and you lose. Collaborate, where I win, you two win. Avoid, where I lose, you two lose. Accommodate, where you win, but I lose. And compromise, where I win some, you win some, and I lose some, and you lose some. Life is a series of negotiations. My toughest negotiations are, you guessed it right, with my husband. Ours was an arranged marriage. After the initial euphoria died, the stark contrast of our personalities became very evident. I'm an early riser, and he likes to sleep in. I'm systematic and organized, and he's very laid back. He loves slapstick comedies, and I watch only news, travel, and cookery shows. I'm a cleanliness freak, and he is messiness personified. He loves to visit cities while I love nature. Differences cropped up, and one day I couldn't take it anymore, and I called up my mom crying. Now, my mom is someone I truly look up to. She and my father are as different as chalk and cheese, though theirs was a love marriage. People predicted it to be doomed from the beginning, but they proved everyone wrong by remaining happily married for decades now. And the credit mainly goes to my mom. After listening to my sob story, my mother said, when two people enter a relationship together, they're accepting the fact that they're two separate individuals who might not always want the same things, but will always work together to be on the same page. And if you want your marriage to work, you should be willing to listen to his side of the story. Communicate your needs in clear terms. Build a rapport with him. Find a middle ground that is acceptable to both of you through negotiations. After this eye-opening conversation with my mother, I realized the skill set required for successful negotiation are effective verbal communication, listening skills, rapport building, assertiveness, decision-making, and problem solving. I sat down with my husband and asked him what he expects from me. I realized I am being a martinet. As much as my likes and dislikes are important for me, these are important for him too. I communicated to him what are my expectations. We both realized that the problem lies in our adamance to stick to our stance. And we cannot move forward unless we are ready to lose some in order to win some. Thus, we decided to stick to our own sleep patterns. I have my personal TV to watch my favorite programs, and once in a while we'll sit together and watch something that is enjoyable to both of us. We would take turns to choose vacation destinations. And my husband agreed to maintain a minimum standard of cleanliness, and I decided not to be too rigid about it. After many years of marriage, which had its own share of difficulties, I felt a marriage needs to be worked on to make it happier and more successful. Therefore, I racked my brains and came up with a negotiation deal, which I'm planning to discuss with my husband. Here it goes. Let's make a deal. I want my own bank account, but we shall have our joint one too. We spend summer vacation at my mother's and winter at yours since it is shorter. I get to pick the wall colors and you choose the bathroom tiles. I'll do the cooking, you take care of all the dishwashing. We go to romantic dinner one week and an action movie the next, after which you will treat me to a lavish dinner. You will teach the children and I shall feed them 4 meals. And let's hold a marriage meeting once a week where I will have the veto power to negotiate whatever else pops up on this forever trip. I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that he would agree to it, though in reality, I have not given him any choice. No signing, no dinner. Mastering the art of negotiation will transform all areas of your life. You will not win every single time, but if you learn to focus on the process of negotiating, it will increase your interpersonal relationships, heighten your curiosity and desire to learn, and get you in the habit of creating strategic plans to help you achieve your goals. And remember, you don't get what you deserve. You get what you negotiate. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Soja. We'll give a minute for everyone to send their feedback to Toastmaster Soja on her private chat.
Leslie,
Okay.
so
The
Toastmaster,
next,
can we move on?
sorry?
Yeah, let's
The
go
next,
on.
yeah. The next speaker. Dynamic, enthusiastic, committed. Oh, I could go on. There are any number of adjectives that I would give on to the next speaker to the next speaker. He also happens to be the VP Ed of this club. Toastmaster Anu, ever since I've seen him, has always been a member, always pushing himself and improving himself. Toastmaster Anu today will be evaluated by one of, I would dare say, Kuwait's most experienced Toastmaster, DTM Noor, who would also read out his objectives. And as other speakers have done, Toastmaster Anu, in a sentence, what you might do to help the environment. Over to you, DTM Noor.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Leslie. Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Today, Toastmaster Anup will be embarking on Pathways Level 3, Project 2 from the Dynamic Leadership Path. The purpose of his project is for Anup to practice using a story within a speech or giving a speech that is a story. The story might be personal, well-known fiction, or one of his own creation. The title of Toastmasters Anup's speech is The Red Shoes. The Red Shoes, Toastmaster Anup. Timer, please note the timing is 5 to 7 minutes. Good luck to you, Toastmaster Anup. Over to you.
Thank you, DTM Noor. Timer, I would like to just, before I start the speech, I would like to respond to Toastmaster of the Day's question, what I would like to do to protect my environment so that what I sow now can be reaped in a better fashion for future generations. So around 70% of Earth is covered with water, while only 2.5% is drinkable. So as responsible people who have the privilege to live on this earth, I would request all to save water, because water is required for all the generation, for human beings, not only human beings, all kinds of organisms, animals, mammals to survive. So this is what I would like to do. Timer, I would like to start the speech now.
Anup, can you just close the curtain behind you?
Yeah.
And put on the light.
Yeah, put on the light. Is it better?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
this is
also about
much
to say
better.
that. Yeah,
Okay.
it's fine now.
Okay, great. Thank you. Timer, please note starting the speech.
Yeah.
One of the things that we like to flaunt since childhood are our shoes. Every child is intrigued by a pair of shoes. A pair of shoes need to have some key features: easy to get on, lightweight, flexible, comfortable, durable, long lasting, and of course, enable natural walking. However, the red shoes that I was looking forward to buy when I was 7 years old had some unique features. Fellow Toastmasters and dear guests, let me take you through my story of buying a pair of red shoes. When I was in second standard, I was deeply inspired by an advertisement of shoes. The advertisement goes as follows. Many friends of a kid come to his house. They all wear the Corona champ shoes. Mind you, it was not Corona, but Corona. The kids wear the shoes, climb the wall and to the ceiling. Corona champ shoes gave them the power. The kid in whose friends the friends came, wore the red color shoes. After seeing the advertisement for a few times, I insisted and pressurized my parents to get me a pair of red color Corona champ shoes. We were staying in a small town then. The brands that were advertised in TV reached the stores after a few months. However, considering my persistence, my parents decided to buy me the pair of shoes. We went to one of the largest shoe stores then and found out that the brand did not arrive yet on the shelves. It might take a few months before the shoes were available. My father then took the ardent decision of arranging the brand of shoes. Unfortunately, in those days, neither Google nor mobile phones were available. He became an aggressive martinet. He first found out the company head office, and then from the head office, the dealer that supplies to our place. The dealer was planning to supply few pieces, but obviously after a few months. My father convinced him to send some stock immediately, out of which there should be one in red color. Finally, after a lot of huffing and puffing by my father, the stock arrived. And a month later, once my parents took the bold decision of buying the shoes. The D-Day came and my parents took me to the shoe stores to buy Corona Champ shoes. I tried few colors and even got confused if I should go for the red one or the blue one. Finally, I settled for the red one. Now let me remind you of the unique features of the pair of shoes that I wanted to buy. There were three unique features of Corona Champ shoes. The first feature was it was very comfortable to wear. At least that's what the advertisement said, and I believed. The second feature was that it did not create the squeaky sound that used to irritate me significantly then. Now that the two features are met, I decided to try the final but the most important feature. Now let me remind you about the advertisement. The kids wear the shoes, climb the wall and to the ceiling. Corona Champ shoes gave them the power. I wore the Corona Champ shoes and got ready to try the most important feature, which is climbing the wall and then to the ceiling. I wore the shoes and then ran to the wall. As soon as my second foot lifted from the floor, I fell down before even attempting to climb the wall. Fortunately, I was not hurt, but I was very furious. I was furious over the dealer to dupe my parents. I was furious over my parents for bringing me to a store that sells all sort of duplicate items and not the original product. Disappointed, I didn't buy the pair of shoes. I came home with a long face. The dealer was annoyed at my parents for not buying the shoes, as the red color was brought only for me. At least that's what he told. In the next couple of weeks that followed, my parents had the single-minded agenda of convincing me that the shoes are original. And one can't climb a wall by just wearing a pair of shoes. They also told me inspiring stories how I can climb the mountains and even Mount Everest if I use excellent shoes. Finally, my small analytical mind agreed to their conviction that since 2 out of the 3 features are met, I should buy the pair of shoes. Of course, then I didn't have the skill set to apply a weightage to my choice because then I would have assigned a weightage of 90% to the third feature that enables to climb up the wall and over the ceiling. Anyways, my parents proudly brought the pair of shoes and I half-heartedly accepted. For a long time, I felt it was my parents and the dealer who tricked me into buying this pair of red shoes. Today, when I look back and ponder about the story, I think about the pain and struggle our parents have taken to bring us up. Whenever I see a pair of red shoes on the shelf, I'm reminded of this story. I also learned something from my father, that if we have determination, we can achieve anything. Dedicating this story to all the parents, I would like to hand over to the TMOD. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anu. A minute to write feedback for Toastmaster Anu on his private chat. Done? Are we okay? 1 minute done? The fourth? Yeah, okay. The fourth and the last speaker is a member who was once quite shy, but now burst forth with taking so many roles in our club and climbing to greater heights in a journey in Toastmasters. Toastmaster Rabia. She will be evaluated by one of our very prolific writers, Toastmaster Chinmaya, who will read out her objectives. Since we are short on time, Toastmaster Rabia, there's no need to say anything about the environment. You can continue with your speech. Over to you, Toastmaster Chinmaya, to read out her objectives.
Good evening, good Toastmasters and guests. Today we have Toastmaster Rabia presenting her project level 2 project 3 speech. Title is Mentors of My Life. And the purpose statement of the speech is for the member to clearly define how the Toastmasters can envision the mentoring. And the member has to share some of the aspect of the previous experience as a protege. Protege means somebody who is being guided by someone else. So that is the course she is embarking upon. So Rabia will be presenting title Mentors of My Life. Mentors of My Life, over to Rabia.
Am I visible and audible?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I was impressed by the famous quote said by the famous personality Oprah Winfrey. She once said, "A mentor is someone who allows you to see the hope inside yourself." Today, in my speech, I would like to mention about the important mentors who helped me to achieve my goal, and I would like to thank them in being the best mentors throughout my life. Dear Toastmaster of the Day, fellow Martinets and guest, good afternoon. I was born and brought up from a big family and grew up amidst with 5 beautiful sisters, wondering where and how to begin. Back in days, we girls used to enjoy a lot by sitting and chatting together, playing games, watching movies, and helping each other. I can't find words to describe those memorable days that we enjoyed. Among all the girls, my second elder sister, named Sarah, was quite different. She never interferes in our chat. Rather, the only thing she often does was reading, reading, and reading. Sarah is a very quiet girl, talks less but reads more. We used to call her by the nickname Bookworm. As reading makes a person to gain more knowledge, indeed, Sarah too was also a knowledgeable person. After she pursued her degree, she joined as a teacher in one of the private schools. I used to accompany her to the school where she worked and follow all the activities. First, I was amazed to see the way she handled the students by guiding and motivating them. By guiding and motivating them. Sarah was my first inspirer and mentor in my life. Sometimes some students, they used to come to my home, and Sarah, as their mentor, guided them, motivated them through a positive feedback. When I was doing my studies, I didn't opt for any ambition in my life. Then later, I too wanted to become a teacher only after seeing my sister Sarah. Mentoring is sharing knowledge, skills, and life experience to guide anyone towards reaching their full potential. It is a journey of shared discovery between the mentor and the protégé. Sarah, as my mentor, raised the bar regarding my potential and provided support and guidance to aim higher and higher in improving my better life. Indeed, my sister Sarah's mentoring helped me in my career. After I pursued my degree, my ambition came true because I became a teacher as I wished. I was contented and ecstatically happy because I got satisfaction in my job. In my career, I came across different types of students with different mentalities. Some students had talents and skills, but they were unable to manifest their skills to others. Even though I wasn't a Martinet, I, as a mentor, mentored my mentees by taking personal responsibilities in working towards the accomplishment of broader goals over a sustained period of time. I mentored my protégés by setting goals to explore their skills through developing contacts and identifying resources, and by also through emotional support and role modeling. First, I wasn't interested about the Toastmasters. I used to accompany my husband as a guest to the Toastmasters Club. It was my husband who motivated me to join as a member in the Toastmasters Club. I would like to point out that my husband, Toastmaster Bashir, was not only my best life partner, he is also my best mentor in my life. Whenever I prepare my speeches, Toastmaster Bashir, as my mentor, points out my mistake and corrects it. He guides me, he motivates me to move to the next level. As you all know, Toastmaster is the platform for all of us to learn more better. I would like to mention especially about the evaluators in the Toastmasters, because they play a very major role in the Toastmasters, because they are the ones who guides and motivates the speakers to move to the next level in a very relevant and a positive way by giving the reports in an honest way. Finally, I like to thank all the mentors and the evaluators who helped me in my life to achieve my goal to the next level throughout my life. Let me conclude my speech by quoting Winston Churchill's quotes. Let us make a life by what we get. Let us make a living by what we give. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rabia. 1 minute for feedback. Toastmaster timer, please note.
Leslie.
Yeah. A timer, have all the speakers qualified in their time?
Yeah, I would like to say I was the perfect example of Martinet, not Martini. Because of me, that they were all within time limits.
Very
So yes, they all qualified.
Yes. Toastmaster Gopal, can we vote now for the best speaker?
Hold on 1 second.
So, have you voted for the best speaker? With this, we come to the end of our first segment. Before we go to the next segment, I would like to just in a minute speak a little bit about the theme of today. The theme, and sorry?
Leslie, can Rabia stop sharing her screen? Rabia? Can you stop? Okay.
Okay. Before we go on to the next segment, I would like to touch upon an aspect of the theme of this meeting, and that is our quest to improve ourselves. We have exploited areas where we should not be, eat foods that we should not eat. Greed has overtaken our needs. They say there is enough on earth for everyone's need, not for everyone's greed. Scientific facts have proven that it was our overexploitation has transferred zooids or viruses from animals to human beings, causing this pandemic and others like HIV/AIDS. So let's learn to live as responsible citizens of this planet. The next segment is table topics. The table topics master is none other than Toastmaster Gopal. He is also the IT master, coming in with all the IT gimmicks. he has brought spectacle to this club role as Sergeant at Arms. Help me invite our very next committed member of our club, Toastmaster Gopal. Over to you.
Thank you very much, TMOD Leslie. I would like to welcome everybody to the session of table topics of today. I'm going to be a martinet. I'm going to call upon specific people myself without giving any choices to them. This is more because of the fact that we are running out of time. And I don't want to spend too much time trying to, select people. So here we have can we please invite TM Vermeet as the first speaker to choose one of these flower vases, please. TM Vermeet.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Would you like to go? Can you please choose one of the flower vases?
Okay, I will choose this purple flower vase with multicolored flowers.
Okay. As today's topics are all related to harvest, this is one of the sayings: care less for your harvest than for how it is shared. Care less for your harvest than for how it is shared. TM Vermeet, over to you.
Care less for the harvest, for care less for your harvest than how it is shared. I would just let me see the timer. Okay, I can see. Okay, good evening, everyone. Care less for your harvest, and you should care for your how it is being shared. I believe we should take care of the harvest and how it is shared both equally. Something which we have, what we reap when we give something, when we sow something, if it's not being taken care, it won't grow up to a good or healthy. Suppose if we take into a relationship, if we have given time to a relationship, if we harvest that relationship, so we give time to it, then only we can expect the same good things from it. I'm sorry, I'm totally blank with it. That's it. Sorry.
No problem, TM Vermeet. It was a good speech. Can I share the screen again? 1 second. Okay, can I request TM Jomi to please take over the next one? TM Jomi, please.
Yeah, I'll go with the first one with the zebra flower vase.
Even after a bad harvest, there must be sowing. Even after a bad harvest, there must be sowing. TM Jomi, please.
Yeah. Good evening, Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. Well, even after a bad harvest, there must be sowing. From what from this verse, what I understand is that even if you have a bad day, or even if after trying so hard, even if you fail, we must never give up. We must keep trying, because the journey to success matters more than our complete success. That is also very important. I mean, our journey, the hard works, the failures, it ultimately it develops our mental strength. So I guess that's what, even after a bad harvest, definitely everybody works very hard for a good harvest. But unfortunately, or some due to our limitations or due to limitations which are beyond our control, sometimes things go bad. But we should never give up. And as the saying goes, pray hard and work hard, and everything will come out for the best. Over to you, Table Topics Master.
Thank you, TM Jomi.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Can I request TM Sharif to go next, please? TM Sharif. Hello. Okay, since he is not there or he is not picking up, can I request TM Irfan to try, please?
Yeah, it was Mr. Gopala, the last one with the yellow vase.
How can people trust the harvest unless they see it sown? How can people trust the harvest unless they see it sown? Over to you, TM Irfan.
Table Topics Master and fellow Toastmasters and dear guest, good afternoon. How can people trust the harvest unless they see it sown? It is something we talked about, the confidentiality level in us. Suppose if you are going to do something, we should be pretty confident and sure that we are going to do this. So in that way, definitely we can trust the harvest. It's our confidence level. We know ourselves better than somebody else. We know our own positiveness and negativeness, whether it be your personal life or whether it's your social life or your corporate life. Everybody can gauge their own confidence, and it's, in case like if there are some negative points, definitely it's time for us to correct it, to ensure that we don't mess up with things. So this is one way, like over building ourselves before doing any task definitely helps us to ensure that for any harvest we can trust that before seeing it. Over to you, Toastmaster Gopala. Thank you.
Thank you, TM Irfan. Please give a nice round of applause to him, please. Can I request TM Naveen to take up the next speech? TM Naveen. Hello. Both TM Naveen and TM Sharif are welcome to take it.
Maybe we can, if no one is speaking, we can move to.
Yeah, I think I would like to close the table topic session.
Yes.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Yeah. Timer have all the speakers qualified. That's TM Vermin, TM Jovin, and TM Irfan.
Yeah, they're all qualified.
All qualified. So can we vote for the best speaker?
Just can you give me a few minutes? I'll set it up.
Or
call you
can
back.
we do it later on? We'll do it later.
Yeah, please. Can you please do it?
We'll now come to since we are a little bit short of time, we now come to the next segment, the last segment of the meeting, the evaluation segment. I would like to now call upon our general evaluator, Toastmaster Sana, to take over this very important segment, the evaluation segment. Toastmaster Sana. Toastmaster Sana. Toastmaster Sana. Toast.
Okay, it looks like she had a connection issue. She's connecting again. Let's just give her a minute.
Okay.
Sana, are you there now?
Yes, I'm here. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
We
All
are,
right.
I'm handing over the podium to you to take over the evaluation segment of our meeting. Over to you, Toastmaster Sana.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day. And let us begin our evaluation section with no further delay. So let me call upon my team of evaluators. So my first evaluator for the speaker, Toastmaster Shashwini, was DTM Zainab. So may I hand over the screen to DTM Zainab to evaluate Toastmaster Shashwini, please? Over to you.
Thank you, General Evaluator, and my target speaker, Toastmaster Shashwini. Before I begin my speech, let me read a disclaimer. Please do not evaluate or support anyone who even plans of such kind of plan, even in the dreams. Toastmaster Shashwini began her fictional speech with wonderful voice modulation, articulation of words, and doing something that can be realistic. Yes, we can think of robbing because it is COVID. We all are short of funds. So this is something she did very thoughtful about her club members. Wrong or right, let the jury decide about it. Okay. Now, Toastmaster Sashwini's speech, did she have an objective? Yes. She wanted to rob a supermarket to get funds. Was it realistic? Yes. She had a target team? Yes. Her own club members, she convinced them and she took them along with to the robbery. Did she have available resources? Yes. She picked up the right person for the right job. What were the challenges? And was the robbery executed? We all know that. We all heard her speech and we all were entertained and glued to her way of narrating a fictional speech. Who can ever think of relating such a fictional speech to this professional project? Hats off to you, Sashwini, for thinking out of the box. Well, I would have never planned to get this kind of speech for this project. The speech was really entertaining. It had wonderful pauses, voice modulation, a lot of expressions and gestures, which made us realize that yes, some action is going in our mind and we are visualizing what's happening in the supermarket. There were floods of beautiful, rich vocabulary words and vivid words that glued our attention to your speech. Now, Sashwini, even if you're working on a foolproof plan, you still need a foolproof plan. As per your project, if you would have laid or showed an action map to the audience or to your listeners just by words or by presenting, that would have really impacted your martinet skills in this plan. I would love you to see that you are performing the role of a martinet here. You are telling people what to do and what not to do. I would have loved if you would have given the starting and the ending dates of your action plans. When to start, before how many days of the robbery, what's the progress, which person got what kind of information. I would have loved if you would have added that. I would have loved to hear about the conflicts of interest when you presented this plan in front of your club members. Who opposed and who proposed, who supported you and who went against you. How did you convince? That would have brought your leadership qualities in this scenario. I would have loved you to take control of this entire plan and would and I would have loved if you would have narrated in detail by steps. Overall, an engaging fictional story, which I loved, wonderful pauses, articulation of words. Just make sure that you have an action plan to lay down your actions. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, DTM Zainab. Now, let us move on to the next evaluator. Let me call upon DTM Bindu, the president, to evaluate Toastmaster Soja. Over to you.
Good evening once again to everyone. And Toastmaster Soja, on your negotiating skills. You actually began the speech with a good story, and that is what made us glued, because this was an unexpected story about a cow, which I don't think anyone had in mind. And for that reason, everyone was paying attention to that particular story. So this is actually an essence of any speaker, to make sure that right from the beginning, the speakers are glued to your speech. So that was a wonderful start. I do not have to say anything about the use of vocabulary, because you are a master when it comes to using words. Even still, I would like to quote some of the words that you used here: euphoria, messiness personified, scroffed up, chalk and cheese, some of the phrases, find a middle ground. You even went on to use the word of the day, which the grammarian will talk about: lose some in order to win some. And the list goes on. It will not be completed in the time limit that I have. Now, when it came to negotiating skills, when you were presenting your slides, you actually brought them in chronological order, in such a way that some of them related to Toastmaster skills, communication, negotiation. There were a number of them in your slides. So you could actually have used some humor here, saying that whatever you learned in Toastmasters helped you to negotiate in your relationship with your husband. I feel so. This is my opinion. Now, every speech definitely has room for improvement. So what I would like you to do is, as you know, to keep a speech entertaining, when you spoke about the story, you could have expressed how you felt when you fell. Yes, you did make the sound thug, but you could have shown that expression on your face. Cow, come on. It's not a man pushing you, or a woman pushing you, or a child pushing you. How old were you then? How you felt? Oh, that sound, it creates a varying tones in your speech. Let people feel that, because everyone can relate to that speech. And when it came to your negotiation skills with you and your husband, take turns. You speaking for yourself, speaking for on behalf of your husband. You do this, you do that. Where you had the veto power, express it on your face. Don't then the people at international conferences express this, the politicians? You can also express it on your face. By doing so, it brings up some humor also. So this is what I feel you could have improved on. Overall, you had a speech that clearly kept the audience glued right from the beginning till the end, with excellent use of vocabulary and phrases. All you need to do is use varying tones, show some expressions, make it a bit entertaining, and you definitely have those skills. You don't need more practice on that. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Bindu. So my next martinet is DTM Noor, who would be evaluating our speaker, Toastmaster Anoop. Over to you, DTM.
Thank you, General Evaluator Sana. Before I start my evaluation, may I ask Toastmaster Gopal to give me sharing permissions, if he can, co-host permissions?
It is already there. You can.
I
Are you not able to get? Yeah.
I can share the screen. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me do that. Okay. Before I start the evaluation, I would like all of you to see the advertisement which Toastmaster Anoop has seen. All right. Okay. So now that you have seen the advertisement, Can I continue with my evaluation? Timer, shall I continue with my evaluation?
Yeah, please start.
Okay. Toastmaster Anup, what fond memories you have brought, today. In fact, I was reminded of the Corona Champ shoes myself because I saw these ad. I was almost 9 years old, 7 years old. It was in 1987. All right. So now you know my age. All right. So with that, I will divide my evaluation into 5 parts as the 5 elements of a story. The first is the premise. The premise is what sets the location, characters, and the circumstances of your story. All right. Now, what I liked about how you started the story, your speech, was that you set actually a context for your story. You set a location that you're watching an ad, and it's a small town where you lived, and also the characters were very evident that you introduced yourself and also your father, and the circumstances also were introduced. That is, you are a kid, a small kid, and you were actually influenced by this ad. Now, the second thing, what I would really would want to focus on the premise aspect itself is that if you could really bring about the premise a little more with more clarity, it would have been great. So, for example, if you say that in the opening itself, on a warm Sunday morning, there was a ad which showed up on my TV in a remote village or a small town in so and so place. So it builds a visual imagery for me. All right, that where this location is, or it was a Sunday and it was a morning, and that's when you saw the ad. So setting the premise is really important. Although you met the basic things, but you can actually build on it and you can actually bring up some variety into it. The second is the plot. Plot is the sequence of events. Your plot was basically a tragedy plot. Why it's a tragedy plot is because you suffered at the end. The main protagonist, the hero, he suffers. Now you're an optimist kid, and then you are struck with reality, and you know that you cannot climb the ceiling. All right. So your plot was well framed, and we could understand that it is a tragedy plot. Now, your character, Anup, one very important thing is to build the character strongly. All right. So we want to know what type of a kid you were. Were you 7 years old? Were you a kid who was very enthusiastic and curious about things? Were you attracted to colors because it was the red shoes? So it's important for us to know what type of character you are and what type of character your father is, because your father is a very dominant character who really want to satisfy his kid, and he fought with so many people to get those red shoes to your town. So we want to know a bit more about your father. So if you could explain a bit more about your father, we would know really the character of your father. So build your characters properly so that we understand, so we can link the story properly. Now, the fourth point is the prose. Prose is nothing but the way in which your sentence structure is and how you convey the story to us. All right, it's actually a key element to your story. Now, what I was delighted was that you decided to speak in the vernacular, that is in the first person in narrating the story. So that was very nicely done. So your choice of words were good, and I love the way in which you said it. Now, the last is the theme of your story. Now, the theme of your story, it ties the larger takeaway, which you hope your audience, that is us, to actually draw from your story. All right. Theme is built through narrative, and it is one of the essential elements of your story. Now, theme requires work on the part of your audience, that is us, all right, to discern a larger message and the human condition at large. That is, you said that pain and struggle of the parents. All right, that was the message, and also the determination of your father to achieve anything. Now, what I felt was a disconnect somehow in your story. The story was about you, You were the hero of the story, and you suffered, in the story, because you had a very amazing, optimistic view about the Corona champ shoes, and reality struck you, and you got hit. All right. So something good was suffering at the end of the story. So you have to tell us about, if the moral of the story was tying to the child, to the expectations of the children, or to the ads, or to something, we would discern a larger message rather than the pain and struggle of the parents. Then the theme of the whole plot should be around the parents, and if you are talking about the determination, then the whole plot should be around determination. So, but this was a story about you, how you felt, and how your expectations were shattered with the reality, and you should draw a theme based on that. So overall, I loved your speech. I hope that you take into consideration these points of improvement, and I hope that you would tell better stories next time. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you. Indeed, a martinet. And the next in line is Toastmaster Chinmaya, and he will be evaluating Toastmaster Rabia. Over to you, Toastmaster Chinmaya.
Thank you. So I am evaluating my target speaker, TM Rabia. She is on level 2 of her speech with project 3, that's on mentoring aspects. She started her speech with a very good quote from Opera Winfrey. That was a lovely start, who said, a mentor is someone who allows you to see the hope inside yourself. This is what she conveyed, and she started a kindly interest in us to know more about her story, or the what she speaks. She started with her life, how was the background about her sister Sarah, who brought the main mentoring in her life in her younger days. She told a lot about that background and used the words like bookworm and all to build into the story. It was interesting. Then she told the journey of her learning in the mentoring life, about going to the private school, and she explained what is actually a mentoring is: sharing knowledge and experiences and guiding, all those aspects she clearly explained in her meeting, speech, sorry, not meeting. She also told about her experiences as a mentor in her life to her proteges, students in her classroom, how she tried to mentor them, how she improved the students. These aspects also she touched in her speech. And she recalled all the mentors in her life, including husband or the Toastmasters, how they helped in her evaluations, mentoring her speeches, all those things she generally connected of her life of mentoring, how her husband also motivated to come join the club and improve upon herself. All these kinds of elements in mentoring she explained. She ended also the story very well with a quote from Winston Churchill, telling that we make a living by what we get, but what we make in life is by what we give. With that, she ended her speech. Of course, overall, it was very well narrated speech. Still, I think there are some improvement expected. According to Toastmasters, she was expected how mentoring is important in a Toastmasters club as such. Some kind of a theory was expected. They told to explain how Toastmaster envisions mentoring as such. That aspect of how Toastmaster looks to see the mentoring aspect generally in the club, why it should be there, what is the importance of it. These aspects of some theory could have been added to her speech. Overall, it was a good speech. Over to Toastmaster of the day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Chinmaya. Moving on to our next martinet, and he will be the grammarian, and he will also be telling us how we did on our grammar and vocabulary. Over to you, Toastmaster Praveen.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sana. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Actually, what has happened is today it has been like a melange of advanced words were used with impeccable grammar. So it was like a paradise for the grammarian, which is me. To start with, if you look at who are the ones who used the word martinet, almost everyone had used it. Then the ones who had used it one time was basically Yusuf, Gopal, Leslie, Anuj, Anup, Soja, Sashwini, etc. They had used it at least once. Rabia, Rabia Zainab had used it twice. In fact, Rabia had used it very creatively when she introduced herself and introduced the fellow Martinets. And Sana Fatima had used it thrice. There were some advanced words which were used. I managed to capture a few of them. Wordsmith is one, fruition, condone. Furthermore, there were a lot of usage of euphemistic phrases were used, especially in Soja's speech. And the language, in overall essence, the language, the command of the English language was fantastic today. An important word which was used by Soja was basically chalk and cheese, which Bindu of course covered. Then other words which are used by various people were basically rapo, fingers crossed, persistence, huffing and puffing, D-Day, bookworm, etc. Now these were the positive aspects. With some amount of difficulty, I managed to foray into the improper use of the language as such. And a couple of examples were like this. One was get caught it. This should have been actually, it should have been gets caught. Then dipped it from the flow. The correct usage would have been dipped in from the flow. Another one was enables to climb the wall. It should have been enables me to climb the wall. Another one is improving my better life. It should have been probably improve my life for the better. Then last but not the least, there is one more like they are the one, okay, to develop, two developing contacts. This should have been in developing contacts. Then they are the ones who guides and motivates. The correct usage should have been they are the ones who guide and motivate. That's in summary what was the usage of the language, the inappropriate usage of the language. So thank you, and over to you, TM Sana Fatima.
Thank you so much, Praveen. Let us move on to our next Martinet, who is Toastmaster Naveen, and he will be telling us how we fared on our R's and ums. Over to you, Naveen.
Good evening once again. All the speeches were well today. Toastmaster Sana used the filler word, 2 times. Grammarian Praveen used the word 19 times. TM Bindu used the word 2 times. DTM Noor used the so, filler word so, is 10 times. And Joe Me used the word 1 time. Over to you, Krishna.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Naveen. So now that brings us to reaping what we have sown, what all of you together have sown. So coming to my evaluation. Firstly, kudos to you for connecting on a lazy Friday afternoon and going down to the evening. Lovely. I think a good blend of Toastmasters here, very experienced. I love the camaraderie that you share with each other. I could see that even when before the meeting began, when you were connecting, unprofessional. I mean, sorry, other friend lady. So now, coming before even the meeting started, I loved the agenda and all the achievements that you have thrown in the agenda. It makes it really very sparkling. Hats off to the elaborate presentation and the jotting down all the points that how to begin the meeting in the start. I love the PPT. And the sergeant at arms, he began exactly at the strike of 3:30, and I loved that. But somewhere there, I thought maybe it could have been a more enthusiastic beginning. We could have added pumped in a little more energy so that people wake up and be, ready for the meeting. And then Hark Master was a new role for me, and I would really love to see how that goes. We had a different blend of speeches, some on mentoring, storytelling, and I loved that. Amazing. Table topics. Table topics was brilliantly done. I loved the colors and the way it was matched up to the theme with all those portrayal of flower vases and all that. Coming to the TMOD, well, very well prepared speech and how he introduced all the role players. It was very well done. But I would have loved to see his face more often, and also I felt some kind of energy was lacking. If we could have added that kind of enthusiasm, then it could have really added a different color to this entire meeting. Coming to that, I also wanted to point out, guys, keep the cameras open. We would love to see all the faces, smiling faces. Only that pumps in extra energy and makes the entire meeting that attractive. Coming to the evaluation part, now I'm mentioning all those energy, but I think the evaluators have done a wonderful job. Kudos to them. Wonderful evaluations, full of energy and full of very, very remarkable points. So that finishes my evaluation part. I really love to be here, and thank you for giving me the opportunity. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, General Evaluator Toastmaster Sana. Now we will now listen to the Hark Master, whom I invite Toastmaster Irfan to take over this role. The Hark Master, Toastmaster Irfan.
Toastmaster of the day and my dear guests and Toastmasters. Okay, are we ready for the questions now?
Let me open the cheat sheet.
Yeah, no, like after getting the questions, like what should I do? I mean, like I should start a poll or what?
No, you can just ask people.
Okay, I'll start now.
Whoever answers the most is the winner.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Okay, there are 5 negotiation techniques: compete, collaborate, avoid, accommodate, and compromise. Which is the win-win situation?
Collaborate.
I think it needs to be typed, right?
No,
I don't know.
we can say it, compromise.
Okay. Okay. Done? Only 2?
Yeah.
Okay, collaborate
Compromise.
is the answer. No, collaborate.
No, collaborate.
Team Chinmay is correct, actually. Okay, second one is, how did Shashwini convince Bindu? Who helped Shashwini to convince Bindu, actually?
Okay, I'm not answering that. I know the answer, but I'm not answering that.
Yusuf, DTM Yusuf.
Yeah, okay,
But you
fine.
asked who convinced Yusuf?
No. That I'm going to ask now, actually. Who permitted to rob?
Yusuf doesn't need convincing. He needs only an order.
Okay, let's go to the third question now. One of the evaluators permitted to rob legally because of COVID. Who is that evaluator?
Zainab, DTM Zainab.
I was a very good robber when I was a child. I used to rob a lot of my dad's pocket.
Even now, I think Yusuf's wallet is always empty.
Yes.
Yes. No.
That is why he doesn't have. He always asks for cash.
She started with robbing his heart. She started with the robbery of his heart itself.
Make sure you all get your receipts, okay, for renewal payments.
Okay, now going to fourth question. TM Rabia has quoted two speeches in her speech. Can we know both the authors who quoted these quotes?
I know one was
Oprah
Oprah.
Winfrey.
I can't remember the last person.
Yeah, Oprah was
Winston Churchill.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. Oprah Winfrey and Winston Churchill.
Half point.
Actually, it was repeated by even TM Chinmay also repeated the same thing in his.
Tear the certificate into 2 parts now.
Okay, two more to go. Like fifth question. Okay, sorry, the last question. Who is still lost in Martini and sees everything red?
Yusuf.
No. Who is
Anup.
still lost?
Yeah, yeah,
Anup,
Anup, Toastmaster
Yeah.
Anup.
It's from the communication in WhatsApp. He's still lost in Martini, and he sees everything in red. Actually, okay, okay.
So
Over
you
to you,
have to declare
Toastmaster.
the winner. You have to declare the winner.
Winner is like everybody. I mean, like nobody had answered correctly twice. I think everybody answered once.
See, Toastmaster Irfan doesn't want to be a martinet today.
Yeah, yes. Okay. Because what we saw is what we reap actually, so I don't want to be martyred.
Okay.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Over to you. Yeah.
Thank you, Toastmaster Irfan. That was really an interesting part of the Heart Master role. Uh, we have we have not done we have not chosen the best table topics master. Neither have we chosen the best evaluator. So if we could get those two screens up, we could have to find a winner of these two.
Yeah, I'm launching best table topic speaker first.
Okay.
I'm sorry, actually, I did not confirm with Yusuf whether they all were in time.
They were all on time. No,
Yeah, I think all the table topic speakers were on time. I remember seeing the.
Yeah. He has said it. He has said
Let's
it.
Yeah.
ask the question and answer all who qualified. Yeah.
Yeah.
For table topics, yes, all who qualified.
And what about the evaluations?
Except Noor.
Evaluators, yeah, I could not be a good martinet. I could not show a good example of being a martinet. And because of that, DTM Noor went overboard. He didn't like my rules.
Okay.
Okay,
Other evaluators are qualified.
So you have Zainab, Bindu, Chinmaya, and Praveen.
And Praveen,
And,
yeah.
Praveen.
Yeah.
So you can launch the poll now, Gopal.
Yeah, I put, but I could not remove DTM Noor in time. Please.
That's okay.
Yeah,
avoid
please
his
do
name.
not vote for DTM Noor. He's exceeded the time.
Yeah, he's exceeded the time. Okay, have we done with our choose? Have we chosen the best?
Are we coding for our counter as well?
No, not
We are going to have a best role player also. So that will be, those role players will be included in that.
Can I end the evaluator poll?
Yes.
As everyone voted for the best evaluator.
Actually, I ended it.
Okay, that's
Okay.
fine. Gopal, please launch one for the best role player, which includes the, yes, that's everyone. But you excluded the timer, but that's okay. He'll get a chance next time.
No, that's not okay.
For today, it's okay because we should end on time and we just have 5 more minutes.
Yeah. Before
Where is the
so
table topic?
I will now hand over the podium to I will now hand over the podium to our president. But before we come towards the end of the meeting, I would like to have a last final word regarding the theme. Each of you and many of you gave a suggestion for the environment, which I'm sure will help. The 3 R's, refuse, reduce, recycle, are all very good. But today, I'm going to tell you something very practical. It's a Friday or it's a Saturday tomorrow. We will be going to the co-op. I wish each of you consciously buy what is necessary, use less plastic, because an alternative to not looking after the environment could be very, very terrifying. This time we got away wearing masks to protect ourselves. Next time we may not be so lucky. We might in fact have to wear a PPE kit just to save ourselves. So, an Martinet approach is what is most important for our very existence. Grammarian, please note WOTD has been used as an adjective though. Over to you, Toastmaster DTM Bindu.
Thank you, Toastmaster Leslie, for that wonderful role that you have played as TM Modi, and especially coming up with the theme, what you sow is what you reap. What you reap is what you sow. Thank you so much, and especially for being connected with us all the way from Pune, as always. I would now, as I wait for the results from Toastmaster Gopal, I haven't had any of the results with me yet. I would like feedback from our guest here TM Jomi from Bhavan's Toastmasters. TM Jomi, please, if you could give a few words of your feedback about the meeting.
Yeah, hi. Due to this COVID situation, one of the good things about is like we can all visit online clubs. We can meet. So, at least physically, we don't have to go around. So the meeting was done extremely good. I like almost all the role players. The speeches were also very good. I loved it. Everything was good, but it was a good experience for me as an individual also. That's the way it is. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jomi, for your feedback, and we hope to see you again for the next meetings. We meet on the first and the third Fridays of every month. So please join us. I think it's a day before your meeting. You meet on the first and third Saturdays, right?
Yeah. Next Saturday we are having our meetings.
Not tomorrow.
No, not tomorrow. Second and fourth Saturdays.
Second and fourth. Okay, so we meet on the first and third Fridays. So please join us whenever you can. Always join us if possible.
Yeah, definitely. Because of this COVID, we can do that. That's the fun part of it.
We can connect from any part of the world. True. Thank you, Jomi, for your feedback. And
Thank
we had Vermeet with us. She's not here. That's fine. We don't have any more guests. So as I need a few seconds to compile the certificates. In the meantime, can I ask Toastmaster Gopal to please share? He does have some things to share with us. So Toastmaster Gopal, please go ahead. Don't adjourn the meeting. Please go ahead.
Hold on.
Okay, if I have to hold on, I'm going to ask Toastmaster Anoop then.
No, it's okay. I can do it just 1 second.
It's okay, Gopal. Anoop is ready. So Anoop, go ahead.
So I would like to make a proposal to all the members. So this is specifically for Don Bosco Toastmaster Club members. It's just a proposal. If it's fine for everyone, we can go ahead with it. See, we have various role player slots and we have speaker slots. So just to strike some balance, we have put forward some points. If all of you are fine, we can take this forward. So there are. So the first point is a Toastmaster can request for a speaker slot only in alternate meetings. We won't be able to accommodate speaker roles in every meeting. The clause won't be applicable if the speaker slots are not booked and are available. The second one, which is most important, I would like to propose is if a Toastmaster wishes to speak or wants to be a speaker, she or he must take up a role in the prior meeting. For example, if I want to speak in the next meeting, I should take up a role in this meeting. So this would be helpful so that we have a balance between role players and speakers. So this is there's one more announcement I want to make. First of all, are all the members fine with this proposal, with these 2 points, so that we can implement it going forward? So I'll just repeat the points once again. we can request to become speakers only in alternate meetings, and even if we want to become the speaker, we should take up a role in the penultimate meeting.
Fine.
Fine, everyone. Anyone who feels they are not aligned with this or who are not comfortable with it?
Yeah, actually, don't make it penultimate. Previously done, role player role. Basically, if supposing somebody does a role player role, the next one doesn't do anything, you should still be allowed to speak the next one.
Yes, yes. Before the speaker, the person should have done.
Yeah.
Agree. Then another point, we are going to have our contest. You can see the contest.
One more thing, we were doing this, but in between we have stopped. Let's take the confirmation from the mentors that the speaker is okay to speak. Let's go ahead with that again.
Yes, sure.
Approval from the mentor. Yeah, President Bindu. Hello.
Yeah, I agree with what Anup has said. See, the reason why we decided on these clauses is just, these are not stipulated rules or anything. It's just that when we take up roles, we need to make sure that we give justice to all the role players and all the members of the club, because we cannot just carry on speaking. Yes, we all need to complete our levels, but we also need to know that there are other roles available in every Toastmaster meeting. And you should know that by taking up other roles as evaluator or grammarian or R counter, you are actually improving your communication skill. It's not just by speaking that you're improving your communication skills. The BP education is actually struggling at the moment, because what happens is in the beginning, all speaker roles are taken and he has to wait till the last minute for every other role to be completed. So this is the reason why we are asking you to please, if you have taken a speaker role, then please take up some other role in the next meeting. And as Gopal said, if you have taken some other role and you have not spoken in the next meeting, then definitely, obviously, these will all be considered by the VP education while he compiles the agenda. And definitely, we'll go with what your DTM Yusuf said, if the speaker is ready to speak. So your mentor will also guide you in that, because we do not want people to speak, prepare a speech the day of the meeting and come and give their speech. You definitely have to prepare, especially now that the contest system season is around the corner. We just have hardly 2 months, which means hardly 4 more meetings. So yes, I do agree with what everyone has suggested here. Can we move on?
Yeah, the next point is those who want to participate in the contest, it's time now, so we can start preparing just to avoid last minute rush. And the last one, if participants, those who want to participate in the contest, they need to renew the membership. So I would urge everyone to renew the membership so that we finish this formality quickly. Yeah. So that's it from my side.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anu, and really appreciate your dedication and hard work as a VP Education. Toastmaster Gopal, if you could carry on.
No,
do you want to do it after the?
Yeah, you present the certificate, then I close the meeting.
Oh, okay, fine. So is everyone ready for the results?
Yes.
Do you all want, so I'm not going to go in the order of how the meeting was conducted. I'm going to go with the best role player. Any guesses with the best role player? Okay, can you please unmute yourselves? We will just take another 2 or 3 minutes. That's it. Please unmute yourselves and keep your videos on if you're comfortable with it. And I truly agree with what Sana has said. Has she left? She's left? No. Because, it's an online meeting. In physical meetings, we would have seen each other. We would have spoken to each other, networked with each other. But with online meetings, yes, there are internet issues. But if you don't have such issues, if you don't mind, at least for these few minutes, keep your videos on so that we can see each other. I need to make a special mention of Naveen here, who is a new member. and who did full justice to his role as our counter today, especially when he explained the role. It's his first time, I think, as an R counter, right, Naveen? You're muted, Naveen. Have you done the R counter role before?
No, this is the first time. Previously,
This is
I've
the
done the
first time.
timer role.
I've always seen whichever role he takes for the first time, he does full justice to it. So please give him a big round of applause. And Naveen, please, I would like to see you carrying on with your speeches and moving on with your path.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. So now for the best role player. Any guesses? Come on, I want to hear from you. Any guesses for the best role player? I'll give you a clue. We have two role players. They have shared the award, so we are giving it to both of them. Who are they?
Sana and Praveen.
Praveen and?
Sana.
Me and Timer.
Praveen, no, Praveen is part of the evaluators. So
Correct.
Me and Timer are the best role player, right?
you are not even in the poll. You were not even in the poll. I think Gopal deliberately avoided you. So excluding these two, who is the best role player? It's been shared by two people.
Irfan and Sana.
Irfan and Sana. Was Sana included in the poll? I can't remember now. Was she included?
Yeah,
Okay.
I had included. Yeah.
I can't remember. I really can't remember. She did a good job. I have to say, she did a good job. She was part of our speaker-thon, and she was the best speaker there in our speaker-thon. And she actually asked for a general evaluator role because she likes being with Don Bosco Toastmasters. Am I right, Sana?
Of course, you're right. And one thing is, this is my first time as a general evaluator.
Oh, good.
I've never been a GE before, not even in my club, because we don't have our own GEs in our club. So this is my first time.
In that way, you have done a great job today. You definitely have done a great job.
Thank you. And I know I didn't do it that great, but this was the first time.
That's okay. You've taken the first step. You've taken the first step. Yes, so definitely Irfan was there. Irfan is one of our best role players today, being the Hearth Master. We totally enjoyed that session. And I appreciate the fact that he did not spend a lot of time. He made sure that he gave us just 5 to 6 questions and covered it within 2 to 3 months. So one of the best role players today is Toastmaster Irfan. And who is the best next role player?
Modi.
The Tia Modi, definitely the Tia Modi, Toastmaster Leslie. Coming up with a brilliant theme and from start to end, following all the, the whatever Toastmasters meetings needs to follow. He followed it and also made sure that he was tracking the time so that he also doesn't go beyond the time limit. So congratulations to both role players, Toastmaster Irfan and Toastmaster Leslie. I'll be sharing the certificates right here in the chat. So just bear with me until all the results are announced. Now let's move on to the best table topic speaker. Again, I'll give you a clue. There are 2 people sharing the best table topic speakers. We only had 3 speakers, by the way. Vermeet, Jomi, and Irfan. So again, it's shared with 2 people. Can you give a...
Jomi.
One is Jomi. He's left, right? Yeah, he's left. Okay, one is Jomi and the other? Irfan. Again, congratulations to both Irfan and Jomi. I have to say, Toastmaster Gopal, some of those topics even I didn't understand. And I was praying, please.
Tough.
Please don't call me today.
Very tough topics.
I could not, the only topic I understood was the one you gave Jomi. I could not understand the other 2. I think I would have just repeated the topic again and again. And finally, this is good for people like Soja, Praveen, who are strict martinets, have a skill of reading, and even yourself. So let's move on to the best speaker. I don't think you need to guess who the best speaker is. It could be unanimous, but let me just hear from everyone.
Rabia.
Okay. Best speaker. We
Anup.
had 4 speakers today. Soja, Shashwini, Rabia, and Anup.
Anup.
Shashwini.
Okay.
Robert.
So just don't leave the last person out. Call her name out as well. Well, it was the person who prompted us all to rob the bank. And in her dreams, though, Toastmaster Shashwini. Can we give a big round of applause to all the winners and Toastmaster Shashwini? I have to say, Toastmaster Shashwini, this was
What about
a
evaluation?
humorous speech. And this just shows that you have the potential to contest in humorous speech. We have more and more people who are contesting this year from Don Bosco as humorous speakers. So I would like you to definitely mold that speech. We have Praveen, we have Anup, we have Gopal, and I do not know if others are contesting, but definitely all of you, please get ready for the contest. The contest dates are also in the agenda. What is that? Yeah, Toastmaster
I'm
Yusuf
ready for
also.
humorous speech, yeah.
So with that, I would like to hand over to our Sergeant at Arms who will adjourn the meeting. But in the meantime, please find in the chat, I have shared the certificates for those of you who would like to have your certificates. Congratulations to all the winners. Over to you, Toastmaster Gopal.
Okay, one second, I'm just sharing. Yeah, somebody else was wanting to say? Okay, this brings us to the end of the meeting number 166.
Evaluation.
Yeah. As I have said, now we are not stuck at home anymore, but we can only meet online. We are able to go to the office, but meetings are still a little bit way off. Hopefully that situation will change in a short while. We miss the tea and snacks, we miss the networking, chit chat. So we need to find some way to make sure that we continue to be in touch with each other. So please share any information you want through dbtmkuwait@gmail.com. I've requested this many times, but please, if somebody can take some more effort, it would be nice.
Gopala,
okay, now, yeah.
Is there an evaluation thing? That one, was it missed?
No, we did evaluator.
It was done?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. I think I forgot to announce the best evaluator. The best evaluator, any guesses? Sorry, I have shared the certificate. Any guesses who the best evaluator is? One evaluator was disqualified for timing. So any guesses? It's shared in the chat anyway. Any guesses? Best evaluator was the person who helped rob the bank.
Both of them form a nice gang.
She also came up with a disclaimer. DTM Zainab.
Yeah.
Sorry, I missed that out. Sorry. Yes, move on.
Yeah, okay. So last meeting, we had requested you to tell us what you missed due to COVID-19, the little things in life.
Yeah, physical meetings.
Here are some of the responses. TM Rabia, getting together with my friends and relatives, hugs, eating outside, shopping peacefully, my children's enjoyment, sports club, traveling, Toastmasters regular meetings, unexpected deaths, overall peace in this world. Next we have DTM Bindu, who seems to have only one regret, that she is missing outings with DBTM. TM Anup, sense of security, job, health of family and friends, ability to travel, seeing people physically over meetings, dinings and outings, shopping, living without fear. DTM Zainab, I miss traveling to India, my religious trips and to popular destinations which I make a point to do once a year. I miss the moments with my parents and siblings. I missed beach barbecues. I missed asking Yusuf, when are you coming home? I miss teaching my all students in person. DTM Soja, during this Corona times, I miss being with my parents, to be there to support my mom when she is struggling to manage everything alone to take care of my ailing father. I miss being able to hold my father's hand and help him walk, to help him write. I miss being able to sit with him and read books for him, to recite poems for him. I miss being there for my parents when they needed me the most. I think I have not read a more heartfelt message from anyone in a long time equal to this.
True.
Of course, this is myself. I really missed dressing up and driving to office, because if you are just wearing jumpsuits and staying at home, how will you even know if you are working or just lazing around? Correct?
Yeah.
Well, the object of this exercise was, don't you now feel happy that you are able to do most of those things that you were missing for the last 4 or 5 months? Things which previously all of us used to simply take it for granted. For the next meeting, what would you consider to be the closest thing to magic that you have encountered in your real life? I'll repeat. What would you consider to be the closest thing to magic? Something that was so brilliant, so unexpected, and which happened like as if it was a magic or a miracle in your life. Okay, please send your contributions to dbtmkuwait@gmail.com. Remember also to send in your photos if you have not already done so. And with
On that note, Toastmaster Gopal, are there still people to send you photos? Are you still
Yes.
waiting for a lot of people to send you photos?
Not about 50%.
Still, okay.
Yeah.
Please, if you are one among those who are still here, please, because very soon we are going to compile a newsletter which will be out during at least by the end of October. DTM Noor will take us through that at least in the next meeting. So please, if you haven't given your photos, please give them to Toastmaster Gopal. He's been requesting this right from the first meeting. So please, I urge you all to please give some. You can give casual photos, formal photos, please. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, with that we come to the end of the meeting, and goodbye to everyone.
Okay, goodbye.
And please, Anup, you can start taking role players for the next meeting.
Yes, I will do that.
Anything from anyone? Naveen, I think you should start speaking, okay? If you are ready, have you chosen a path yet, Naveen? Naveen, are you there?
Yes, I will do that in next meeting.
Yeah, if you need any help, please reach out to any one of us. We can help you. And please, I would urge you to start giving your speeches. You've only given your icebreaker speech. So please start giving your speeches. It's been a long time since you have spoken. So please,
Okay.
I would like you to choose a path first and then move on with your next level, next project in level 1.
Okay.
Thank you. Anything from anyone? Hi, Anusha. How are your online classes going on? You're on mute, so can't hear.
They're good.
Good. Are you enjoying it or you miss going to school?
I miss going to school.
You miss going to school.
Yes.
Okay, is that it? In that case,
Okay.
let's
Yeah.
say goodbye and adjourn, leave the meeting. Thank you very much.
Goodbye. Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 What is this?